If you guys don't know already, don't waste your money on Mevo cameras. Oh my gosh. These cameras are awful. It doesn't see any of them.
No, it sees you.
Yeah. Um, I'm going to restart the camera app and see if I can get the other ones to come up. All right, I'm going to switch cameras, guys, and see if it sees it. And of course not. Uh, we may be on just one camera because it's not showing any of the cameras. Our next thing here on the stream is to buy some real cameras. That's our goal. Yeah, we won't see any of the cameras. It's seeing 2B3FP. It's not finding the wired camera right here. So I guess we're down to this camera tonight. I apologize, guys. The Mevo cameras have been really awful cameras ever since I bought them. Yeah. If I could do a review on the Mevos, it would be don't waste your money. Let me do a little adjustment on this one. All right, we will manage just with this camera here. Now, this camera does go gray. So keep that in mind, guys. My wired camera and my other wireless camera behind me doesn't seem to, well, this one isn't even on. It turned off. I had them all running before the stream, so this one and this one turned off. We are playing Linnell's Jackson tonight. You know, this isn't my guitar, so I don't get to play it that much, but I picked it up off the wall and I was like, you know, we're going to play the Jackson tonight. Take me a little while to get used to the tremolo on it. This guitar has Seymour Duncans in it, and I just love the ceramic Seymour Duncan sound. And you can tell I'm missing the mute when I'm coming back in. And I'm using Linnell's pick. I've been using the picks, the other picks, and I'll be honest with you, just doing what I just did down there, I instantly felt the difference. This pick, it rolls across the string better. It's a night and day difference. Now, this is the thinner version. I believe it was Nicholas that sent me these. He told me to get used to the 1.5 and then go up to the 2.0. So this one's the 2.0. I like the 2.0 much better.
Jupe said, LOL, Avery, everything you pick up is Linnell's.
I'm not as bad as I used to be. Now, that was a mistake when you pull. I have not played really guitar too much this week, guys. Like tonight, I'm on a lot of stuff. I have a tooth that's just killing me, and it's almost to the point where when it doesn't hurt, I've taken so many drugs that I can't even really function. So before the stream and today, I've only taken one pill, and I'll tell you, there's nothing worse than I've ever experienced. And I've shot myself, not with just a Hilti fastener gun, which is probably worse than shooting yourself with a firearm,
Pew,
because
pew.
the Hilti fastener was about a half inch. It's called a 9/16 sleeve fastener. That actually went through this hand. And that was the first accident I had when I was playing. And I couldn't play guitar, for about a year and a half. And I remember sitting in the hospital, and I told the guys in the hospital, I said, well, I play guitar. And the first thing out of the one guy's mouth, he goes, well, you're not going to be playing guitar anymore. And it ripped through the center of my hand and out the other side. A lot of nerve damage, and it really messed my hand up. They sewed me back together. It was workers' comp claim, and I did shock treatment and muscle rehabilitation, for about a year. And I remember not being able to move my fingers, and I would take this hand and I would place it on the guitar, and I'd sit there and strum, and then I was very stubborn. And they told me, look, just give it up. Those fingers aren't going to work like they did. And I guess about a year and a half in, the doctors couldn't believe how much dexterity and stuff that I had regained in my hand. And the one doctor contributed all that to playing guitar, that I just refused to say I can no longer play guitar. And I look back on it, and I probably shouldn't be able to play guitar, but I was just stubborn, and I loved guitar so much. I was off work couldn't do anything for about 4.5, 5 months. And when I went back to work, I stayed with that company, for maybe 2 years, and then I left. I felt obligated because they paid me. I didn't get full pay while I was off. I got it was like voluntary furlough pay or something. It was enough to get me by. But I had got to the point where I had to go back to work. So I stayed with them, I don't know, maybe a year and a half after I returned. I don't think it was quite 2 years. And then I decided, well, I've had enough of this. And I ended up leaving. Um, but yeah, I went right through the center of my hand. If you look dead center, you can see a scar. Dead center of my hand, you can see one on this side. See the big white dot? That's where it come through. So actually, I'm quite fortunate. And you'll see that my one finger jumps. And that is something from the accident. Um, that this bone in here isn't quite right. So right there, my finger actually jumps a little bit. It just kind of wham and it moves. That's why you'll see that I play with these three fingers a lot. I don't use my pinky that much because of the damage. Even though it went through the center of my hand, when they went in there and worked on this, they didn't get something quite right. And the pinky jumps. You can see it right there. Yeah, I have a jumpy pinky from it. But you'll see me, I really play with these three fingers most of the time. This is a great guitar, guys. If you guys have been on the fence on this model, that they make it in a solid color too. Um, this guitar always goes on sale, and it's usually right around $12.99. Um, it's got the FR 1000 bridge in it. Seymour Duncan loaded pickups. It's neck through.
Is your pick a Dunlop?
Yeah, this is the Flow. Now, before you go, they make like 6 different versions of the Flow. I don't know if you can get a. And when I was first told about the Flow, and I think Nicholas sent them in, I've searched around for it. When I typed in Flow, I was surprised at how many different variations of the Flow there is. I really do. I like this pick. And I was watching, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the Studio Rats. They're in the UK, but there's a fellow about my age, a bald-headed fellow that comes on. He's in the US, and he gets on, and I mean, everyone has an opinion, and I'm sure what he's saying, there's probably some validity to it. This man spends like $30 on a guitar pick, and he was naming off these brands. I'm like, I've never heard of them. And he was like, well, this pick is like $20, and this one's 25, and this one's 32. And I'm like, well, that's why I've never heard of that brand. uh, uh, I, like I said, I'm not going to say that there's nothing to it. I've never tried them, and the picks might be the greatest thing since sliced bread and cheese. But 20 to 30 some dollars for a single pick, that gets pricey real quick. I don't. Has anyone heard of spending that kind of money for a guitar pick? $25 to $30 for a single pick. That just seems ridiculously expensive. Now, this guy also plays, what's that guitar that's got the funny headstock that it's kind of squared off here and it steps down again? James Tyler. James Tyler guitar. It just looks like we lost connection again. I love my cameras. He has a James Tyler, which is a high end guitar. Is my cameras really doing that bad tonight, guys? I keep looking over at the screen that's going black and gray. Yep, $60 for a blue chip. I have one Oh my gosh, $60 is a blue? Is that a guitar pick? $60. Is that right? Yeah, he's saying $60. That can't be for one guitar pick, can it? That's oh my gosh. Okay, well he was saying between $20 and $31 for the picks that he was using, and he swore by them. I just I can't I don't know I can't swallow that kind of money for a guitar pick. Yeah, Brad Rocker says yes sir, $60. That's pricey. Um, these I thought were a little on the pricey side for these, but I'll be honest with you. Um, I've been only using this 2.0, and now you can see on the edge it's pretty worn. It probably needs to be replaced, but this is the first one out of the package. And he sent me, I think, I don't remember, he sent me a few, and I went out and bought a 10 pack of each. So this is just the first one. If I can get that kind of wear out of them, I mean, that's fine. This guitar really does play nice. I mean, this is a nice instrument. I don't. I'm on the fence. Albeit this is Linnell's guitar. I'm on the fence with the color. I like the crackle. I just don't know if I like the blue, pink, green, and the oranges.
But you don't have to. It's not yours.
That's what I'm saying. It's not my guitar. I do like the crackle finish though. I think it would look. I think this would look cooler if all the crackle was maybe just in bright yellow, with the black and a bright yellow crackle, or maybe just a. I don't think a red would do too good, but just a bright yellow crackle on it, I think would really pop. And then if I did that, I'd probably want the Jackson logo up here in bright yellow, something a little different, or maybe that lime green that Jackson uses. Maybe do the yellow crackle with the lime green pickups and the lime green Jackson logo. That would probably look pretty sweet. It's got a lot of sustain. Wicked Vester says all green. And Devastator says, yuck, Avery, no. I don't know. I think it would look cool with the black with the yellow behind it, with the lime green pickups. I kind of dig the lime green in certain things. Jackson made that guitar that I had on pre-order or custom shop order for like a year and a half, the 27 fret Jackson. It had one lime green shark fin on the 12th, then the lime green pickup, and it was all solid black. But then they turned around and they did the Jackson logo in white. And that would have looked cool in the green.
Cheryl said tell you you'd look good with a mustard yellow hat on.
Yeah, I like this guitar. I like the knobs on it. It's got a nice knurling on the knobs. And the neck on it, it's very comfy as far as the neck. And I thought the neck on this guitar would be stickier than it is. And it's really not sticky. And that's surprising. But feeling it and playing it, I do think if you sweat it on stage, I do think the neck would get sticky on this guitar. The Pro Plus Jacksons, my white SL3, my favorite guitar. I think this is considered the Pro.
It is.
It's the one step below the USA model. Um, do I think this guitar is as good as the red Virtuoso that we reviewed? Um, they play very similar, but I think the red Virtuoso just had a little something something, a little bit better fretwork, a little bit better fit and finish. But as far as playability, I'd say they're equal if that makes sense. And this guitar, like I said, you can get for $12.99 on sale. So that in itself saves you $800 over the red Virtuoso, and it's neck through. The red Virtuoso that we had on was a bolt on. Really liked that guitar. Really should have bought it. I really did bond with that guitar. I think Jackson makes good products, man. I mean, I got to give them credit. That bolt-on guitar was Seymour Duncan's and a 1500 Floyd Rose bridge, the top of the line Godot tuners, made in the USA for $2,100. Now that's the most expensive one.
That one is a Pro Plus Soloist SL2.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he said he had an SL3. Which one is that? Blue Mox was saying. I think, yeah, SL3. 2 years hard playing, almost zero wear, is what he said. He punched that one up. Yeah, I like them. He says, no, it's a Pro Plus. Yeah. My wife has the satin finish on the back of the neck. Yeah, this one's high gloss on the back, Blue Mox. This one's all done in high gloss, which I think is fine. You don't feel the crackle whatsoever. So they did take the time to clear coat this, sand it, clear coat it, and you can't tell that there's a crackle finish on this. When she was looking at it, I was kind of like, I wonder what that's going to feel like. Are they actually going to, fill in that with a clear poly and really do a good job? And Jackson did. You can't tell that this thing has a crackle finish on the back. So that I like. And believe it or not, I actually like the little mini shark fins. It's got the little mini shark fins on it. That's pretty cool.
Jupe says he likes the look of the guitar, but not the inlays. Plain dots or blocks, or more what he prefers, or no inlays at all.
I kind of like this inlay. It's a little different, Jupe. On the 12th, it's got the little bottom inlay, and then it's got one on the top. I think what they should have done on these, like, see here, it's going across the top here. I think it would have been cool if they would have took these and inverted them and put them on the bottom to match this inlay. I know a lot of companies like Kiesel, a lot of companies are doing that now. Top, and then it shifts on the 12th and goes to the bottom. I think that would have been kind of cool. But this guitar has an ebony fingerboard on it, and I am 100% an ebony fanboy. It's got a good sound. You can't go wrong with Seymour Duncan's. I don't really, if you're looking at a guitar, the Seymour is a good pickup. I like Seymour Duncan's. I haven't really played a Seymour Duncan that. I'm not saying that they were all my favorite, but I have never played a bad Seymour Duncan. They're all good pickups, if that makes sense. And when she was talking about it, I kind of looked at the specs. I'm like, well, that guitar has really good specs. Problem is, they had to order it. So anytime it's like ordering from Sweetwater, you kind of wonder, are you going to get a good one or are you going to get a dud? And I think she made out pretty good. This is a great guitar. We went today, just so you guys know, every Saturday now. We didn't go last Saturday because In the area that we live in, we have a thing called Apple Blossom, and it takes over Winchester, Virginia.
Yeah, for like a week.
Yeah, for like the whole week. So they wouldn't even open last weekend because the town is just chaos. So we missed it last weekend, but this weekend we did actually get to go down. And they had some new stuff in. They had an Ibanez S model, a lot like Linnell's Dragon Eye finish. But that one has the Dragon Eye finish on the headstock. And it's humbucker, single humbucker. And it has the Zero bridge on it, the Ibanez Zero bridge. And that guitar is $679. And I'll be honest with you, that's a nice playing guitar. Nice looking guitar, nice playing guitar. That guitar looks so much better with the matching headstock, where they matched it's got the quilted maple headstock to match the body.
Did that guitar have the Plex treatment?
I don't think the
Pleck.
Ibanez has been plecked. I'm pretty sure.
No, the Jackson.
This one? No, this one's stock from the factory. You'd have to go back and look at the review on this one. I don't think the frets were bad on this guitar. I think the review aren't. I mean, I can't remember every review. We've done like 80 different guitars, but I don't remember the Jackson having bad frets. It plays nice. It has a really nice low action from the factory. Brian at Shenandoah did not set the guitar up, so this is how it came out of the box. It doesn't need anything. It doesn't fret out. It doesn't buzz. It's a fantastic playing instrument. That's why I always tell people, if you're thinking about buying it and it's at $14.99, don't. Sweetwater just had it on sale, didn't they? For $12.99 again.
Yeah, it's been a little bit.
Yeah. It'll go on sale about every 3 months for about 2 or 3 weeks for $12.99. So that's when you want to pick it up. Yeah, Blue Mock says that he remembers that review. It had perfect frets. Yeah, it plays like it. You know, I was just looking. I'm working on. We do a lot of live reviews here, guys, and YouTube doesn't push our live content because if you notice, there's no commercials,
Look,
so they don't push that.
I said Plex and meant Plek.
Yeah, Plek. I kind of figured you meant Plek. Yeah, this one, the Jackson was not Plecked. It came directly from the Jackson distributor, which is Fender. I'm pretty sure it's FMT, and to the store, and then we told them not to do anything to it. We wanted it as it was in the box for review. And they're pretty good about that. They know me. They know if I find something that I'm going to fix it or I'll resolve it. And for our use, doing reviews, I think that's better. Because if you order from AMS or Guitar Center, I'm pretty sure they're really not doing too much to the guitar. Sweetwater, they have that 60-point inspection. Are they gonna fix a high fret? Probably not, unless it's so bad that the guitar is unplayable. If that makes sense, they're taking that guitar out of the box and they're checking for bad dents, scratches, maybe neck pocket damage, anything that the factory may have missed. Maybe they plug it in and one of the positions on the 5-way switch doesn't work, or they missed wiring, or they're looking for obvious stuff. When it comes down to pure setup work, that's when they charge you extra. You can look at Sweetwater. They have a setup fee, then they have a Plek fee. So they're going to charge you extra for all this. Now, Brian is coming Thursday night for Tech Talk, and he is bringing a guitar from the store that has not had any service, that's ready to go out on the sales floor. And he's going to show you Thursday night what Shenandoah Music does to each guitar when it goes out on the floor. They're not going to spend a tremendous amount of time on a guitar. I believe last time Brian was here, they look at it when they order a guitar and they get one in. Let's say it's a sub $700 guitar. they pay attention to how much time it takes to put in that guitar before it's ready to go out on the floor. If they order another one and it's still eating a lot of time back there, more so than a Squire or some of their other products, they don't usually order that product back in. It's causing issues, and they're not charging for a setup. So if they got to get in there and start leveling frets and doing a lot of, you know, intense work on the guitar, that's really not what they're looking for. They're looking for guitars that are coming in the box, well set up with good dressed frets that need a minimum amount of work. You know, a good setup. That's what they're wanting. Maybe a truss rod adjustment, do a good setup on the guitar. And if there's a little issue with the side of the frets, they'll touch that up real quick. But they don't want to get into leveling frets. They don't want to get into electronical problems. Like he was talking about the Ibanez AX120 when I brought that up. You know, he said that that was a horrible guitar. Everyone they got just had bad fret sprout and electrical issues. That's not even a Geo. So Ibanez, that guitar was made at a price point, but there's far better instruments out there, you know, at $220 than the Ibanez AX120. And I know the guitar looks cool, but I've never picked one up in a store that didn't have sharp fret ends. It's just, it is a very quickly made, low hand time guitar. So if you're thinking about buying an Ibanez AX120, I believe it was an AX6 and the AX120. It goes under two names. You can find them for $199. Count on dressing the frets. I have picked up 5 or 6 of them, and I've never picked one up that didn't have bad issues with the side of the frets. And that comes down to the vendor making the guitar for them. You know, Ibanez, you know, probably said, we need the guitar at this price point because they're going to sell it to the distributor, and then the distributor sells it to the store, and then the store needs to make money. So for that guitar to come in at $199 or $229, Ibanez has got to buy it quite cheap. So that's a product that I would, unless you love the body style, I would stay away from it. You know, unless you don't mind that. But it's going to come with sharp frets. I think at that price point, there's just other guitars out there. The Ibanez Geos, for the most part, the Geo is a good guitar. We pick up a Geo at least every other week at Shenandoah Music. Linnell wants a Geo. The only thing I can say about the Geo, and I can say this about every $200 budget guitar, it's the pickups. The pickups just don't seem to be what I consider good pickups. I'm trying to think of a $200 budget guitar that I like the pickups in. The only one that's coming to my mind, and you guys are going to throw popcorn, is the Leo James Monsoon. I actually liked the pickups in that guitar. And the one I bought at the time, they've come down now, so I don't know if it's still the same pickup. When I bought mine, I think the first one was $229, which had decent pickups in it. The second one I bought, I think was $189, and I think now you can buy that guitar for like $179. Every one of them, though, had horrible tuners. I hear people say they haven't had any problems. I have yet to get a Leo James that had good tuners. Every one of them, the tuners have been darn right awful. So if you're buying a Leo James, the Monsoon, I would say count on buying tuners for it. Now they just released a new version. It has a 5-piece neck. It's a Monsoon, and this time I guess they did a computer signature model. So this one is signed Bald Shredder on the back. And it has a 5-piece neck. So it's maple. I don't know. It's probably Purple Heart or something. Strip and then back to maple. I want to say that guitar is $249. It's still a bolt-on. I mean, that's hard to beat. Like I said, this is me not playing it. The problem with the Leo James is the fretwork. Um, but it's hard to find a guitar with a 5-piece neck on it like that. And if they're using the same pickups, it almost comes down to, even if it has bad frets, is it worth buying that guitar and having to, put some time in the frets and put tuners on it? I think the bridge on the guitar it's okay. I'd say the bridge isn't quite as good as like the stock RGA bridge. And the only reason I say that is the Ibanez bridge on their sub $500 guitars, and this goes for the RGAs and the S models from 400 to 500. They've machined a little groove in the base plate, and the saddle screws right in that groove. Okay, and that locks the saddles in. On the Leo James Monsoon and the other model that I reviewed, there's no machined plate, but the saddles are semi-captured by the side, but there is some playroom there. There's more mass, I guess, on the Leo James. I didn't take it off and weigh it. It could be made out of what we call Chinesium. If it's made out of Chinesium, then no. The stock Ibanez bridge is a solid steel block with brass saddles. That's a pretty decent bridge. When I did my RGA, I did upgrade the bridge to a hip shot bridge, the extra thick one, and I put a shim in the neck to kick it. These are sub $400 guitars, so you got to remember that. But at $250, I can't think of another guitar company that's doing a 5-piece neck like that. And this is Amazon, guys. So if you decide to order one, as soon as you get it out of the box, fret rocker it. And if it's got a low fret, just send the thing back. That's what I would do. I wouldn't make them semi accountable for it. I get it. It's a $250 guitar with a 5-piece neck. Check it. And I think if the frets are okay on it, as good as Linnell Schecter, even though the Schecter we reviewed did have one spot that had the one low fret. It wasn't bad, but someone did get a little too aggressive with the fret file on her Avenger. One spot. The rest of them, easily fixed. If the frets are at least to that level, okay, put some decent tuners on it. I think you would have a good bar guitar. The reason I say good bar guitar, it's a 5-piece neck, so it's going to take going in the guitar, in your car, out of the guitar, car, in the bar, especially in the winter coming in and out of the house. It shouldn't move as bad as a guitar like the RGA that has a shiplap joint in it or a scarf joint. The neck should be more stable. That doesn't mean it will be, but it should be. It's a multi-piece neck. So at that price point, it's kind of hard to beat, if that makes sense. And this is all qualified if they can actually build the thing with decent frets. That's what kills the guitar company. And there's no quality control there, guys. I don't care if you're a budget guitar lover or not. You can't tell me Leo James has any quality control because they just produced thousands of guitars with the Roman numerals wrong on the neck. There's no quality control there. So the first one that come off the machine, no one said, hey, these are wrong. So they made several thousand of them wrong. That's something that gets caught long before it gets shipped out, So that tells me they are just popping them on the machine, throwing them together, throwing them in the box, and no one's paying attention if there's a problem. And I know that again because when I ordered my Monsoon, the pickups flopped around on it. You could shake the guitar and the pickups did this. And then the neck, the last two bolts, because it's a bolt-on neck, the last two bolts going into the body, that screw hit the neck and it was exactly 5 millimeters in on the end of the neck. That's way too close to the edge of the neck. And both holes When they put the screws in it, it cracked the neck in both holes. The second version I looked at was a little better. You'd have to go back and look at the review, but it still wasn't good. That neck was cracked in that one too. These are the things that they just draw it and manufacture it. No one goes back and says, hey, let's build 5 or 6 of them. Let's make sure we got this right, and then let's go back and make changes. There are no changes. They just build it and go. The next issue I have, when I go to the store and I pick up an Ibanez Geo or a Squire, if I pick up a Squire Bullet, it's $150. If I go down through the line at the store, the Squire Bullets, usually all the fret ends are about the same. The fit and finish is almost identical on all of them, and they all sound the same. It's a Squire Bullet. It's a $150 to $200 guitar. It's like the Squire Debut. It's a $149 guitar. It has pickups that match that price point, but they all feel consistent. Okay. The reason for that is the company building that guitar for Fender Squire, no, if we don't make this product consistent, we're going to lose our other guitars that we manufacture for this company. When you look at Grote, IYV, and all these other companies, they do a very small production run, and they might nail it. And that production run is just sweet. Same with Firefly. I've gotten some Fireflies that are just phenomenal instruments, but then when you go to reorder it, it's not the same guitar. It may look the same, but now they've changed the pots in the guitar. They put a different pickup in the guitar. It's got different tuners on the guitar. They've made so many changes. And I quantify that by they're buying from whatever source that they can get the best price off. They don't care if they buy it from Joe Blow Bubblegum Factory over here that we talked about last week, or Super Bubblegum Factory that's 2 blocks down the road that's having a sale on tuners this month, but they only have, let's say, 5,000 sets. They don't care. That's 5,000 guitars. We'll buy them. If they're good, they're good. If they're not, doesn't matter. We'll buy those because we can save $1 a set. And you see that a lot. Especially there was a guy from eArt that left eArt, and we've reviewed one of his guitars on this channel. I can't remember what the brand name was. The guitar did horrible. And I ordered it because eArt had a really good reputation for having great fretwork. We had reviewed 2 eArts, and it was a lot of bang for the buck. Great guitars. Again, the pickups were so-so on the eArts, but the fit and finish and the fret leveling and the work on the guitar was great. It's just the pickups were a little weak. So Latitude was the name of the company. So this cat leaves eArt and he starts Latitude Guitars. We ordered one. It was a horrible guitar. You can go back and look at the review. And he actually posted on the review, the owner of the company, and he thanked me for doing a good review and said that they were going to work to make changes. After those guitars sold, there was no more Latitude that come back on Amazon. So I guess he just figured enough's enough, or he went back to work for eArt or one of the other brands that are made over there in those factories. I wish it could have been turned out different for him, but I have not seen any more Latitude on Amazon or eBay since then. And that's what that was. That was one of the eArt employees that branched out and did his own thing. IYV makes a lot of guitars for a lot of these brands. I believe he's making scarred guitars. I don't know where Tease is sourcing his guitars, but he doesn't make his guitars either. Neither does Sean at Scar My Guitar. It's all offshore manufactured, brought in. They claim to check it, put it in a box, and send it to you. But they're still, you got to think, these guitars are even, look at it this way. Firefly does it, and Firefly is just sending it back to you. So Tease is trying to take it out of the box and do a setup and then send it to you and trying to keep it that Firefly price. There's too many steps in there, so they can't do that. The hand time is what raises the price of the guitar. So Firefly has a better chance of delivering more spec for price than Tease. Supposedly, since Tease is checking the guitar, you should have a better chance of getting a well set up guitar that's been gone through from Tease. That doesn't mean you're going to get better tuners because he's still using crappy tuners. The stock tuners are crappy tuners. That's what they are. That's why he's immediately on his list. You can upgrade the tuners. You can upgrade. The stock tuners are just very basic, cheap tuners. And that's to keep the price point down. I'm not picking on Tease. It's a cheap guitar. It's going to have cheap pickups in it.
Have you ever played an AIO guitar?
AIO, I've only played one, and it was a fantastic instrument. They do the exact same thing, but I believe AIO is sourcing their product from a better factory, okay, than what Firefly is using. And I believe the Firefly factory is probably their one factory that makes the etched ash body that we did a review on, the purple Strat and the purple Les Paul and the white Super Strat that we did. That particular vendor that makes those guitars for Firefly is top notch. If that vendor went to a stainless steel conventional fret, get rid of the stupid ball end fret, get rid of it. I mean, it was a nice novelty thing, guys, but the ball and fret woo thing is over. All you did was lose valuable fret space, okay, on that. And now you've created a problem because now there's a spot where you have a flat part of your neck before the fret even starts, okay? Even though this tang is cut back on this guitar, the string will not hang up on the bottom of these, okay? Because it goes all the way out to the edge. The problem with the ball end fret, they have to scoot it in a little bit. So when you string hard, when you're playing hard, the string goes onto the bottom of that fret and it gets hung up under the fret. If you're going to tell me it doesn't do that, then you've been extremely fortunate when you get a ball-ended fretted guitar. I'm going to say we've reviewed a lot of guitars with that. There's been one or two out of the box that didn't have the problem. Most of the time, I have to go through and tap the frets down and CA glue the bottom of the fret. If that vendor for Firefly did away with that stupid ball and fret and put conventional frets on that guitar, even if they raised the price $50, that would still be the best bang for your buck on the budget guitar company. That Firefly FFST, it's not the standard Strat, it's the Super Strat. It's the Ibanez lookalike that we did on the channel. Take that guitar, and if they put a pickup similar to the Leo James Monsoon pickup, or like what we did, the Guitar Heads pickup, they put that pickup in that guitar with conventional frets, and they put it on the market for $299, it would be awesome.
Does Harley Benton have tariffs now?
I think Harley Benton closed their USA store.
Yeah, that's why I was asking if they have tariffs.
I'm not sure how that works coming from the UK.
Well, I googled it. It says they have they've added import tariffs and duties.
Yeah. So basically, we're now paying a VAT tax. I don't have an issue with that. I really don't. A lot of people are upset about it. This country was founded on tariffs. You know, what would you rather have, an income tax where you lose a third of your income, or let somebody pay a tariff? We never paid taxes. We had tariffs. So I think it just works better. It also allows our companies and our manufacturing here in the States to operate. You know, we've lost a lot of manufacturing. When you look at these guitars that we're talking about, we can't manufacture that guitar in this country. We can't.
Have you ever played the CFS frets used on the FGNs from Japan?
I have not. I have not. There's so many brands, guys. We've done like 80 guitar reviews, and the issue this channel has, it's the way I do reviews. Tease is never going to send me a guitar. Okay, Firefly is never going to send me a guitar. eArt is never going to send me none of these guitar companies are ever going to send me a guitar, because I do the reviews we do here is not what the guitar company wants. Okay, they want someone that's going to take it out of the box, go over the basic, style of the guitar, go over the specs. Budget guitar companies are bad for this. It's all spec, 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 spec. They just blind you with specs, and then you go, well, it has better specs than the Fender. I forget what the guy's name. Where's the yellow glasses? What's his name? We just saw his review on the T's.
I don't know what his name was.
I don't know. It's got like a beard, yellow glasses, wild hair. His first thing, Fender can't beat this for $359. Well, you're right, because Fender doesn't make a guitar at $359. They're not trying to compete with that guitar.
Are you talking about, what was it, Big Jake? Is that his name?
Big Jake guitar reviews. All these. It's not just him. Scar My Guitar does it. Bald Shredder does it. Guitar Max does it. Guitar Max is probably bad for it. Scar My Guitar, but that's their whole pun. That's what they get you to click on. These guitar companies, they're not. You think Fender's worried about them? They don't make enough. Fender's the largest guitar manufacturer in the world, other than Cort. They're not overly bothered about it. They're not. It's not their targeted audience. Could it be in 10 more years? I don't know. If these budget guitar companies get their act together, I think they could seriously damage the larger companies. The drawback to that philosophy is these larger companies have money, and they have sourced good manufacturing from Cort and Sazmac. You're not going to beat those two companies. They make 90% of the guitars overseas, and they're good at it. They're so good at it that, PRS has their own little facility over there. Jackson, all these companies use them. And that doesn't mean that IYV can't step up, because IYV makes a lot of short run production guitars, even for some name brands. Okay, but it's short production runs. Okay, and what they produce there is a much different product than the IYV that Sean is buying at Scar My Guitar. It's a different product. Why? Because he's not ordering 1,000 guitars. He's ordering 10, 15, 20 guitars. The exact same thing with Tease. Tease isn't ordering 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000 guitars. When you reset up your tooling, that changes what you can do. Once it's set up, the cost per unit, more that you make, it goes down. Now, it's not, if you make 50, it's not 50% if you make 10. It's not, you're not saving half. And if you double it, you don't save half again. There's a point where you just can't make it any cheaper. And I think we see that, even though people talk about, oh, it's slave labor, it's this, it's that. The company over there still has to make money, whether in China or the Philippines, or it doesn't matter. The company still has to make money. If they don't make money, whatever salary the people out on the floor are working for, they can't pay them. Okay? They still have to make something. We're not talking about what that something is, but if they can't at least do that, then they can't fulfill the orders, then they can't have the employees there to fulfill the orders. So they have to make money. The problem is, when you start becoming industrialized like that and your standard of living starts increasing, people want to make more money. Then the company buys more tools. Then they have more overhead. As the company gets bigger, they become exactly what they started their business to offset, the large manufacturing. It always happens. You don't see successful companies staying as 3 or 4 people. They grow, they get larger, they buy better machines, they hire more talented people. They start doing this and well, that increases the cost of the product, and it goes up. So once you have a good product, and I've said this a bunch of times, if you have a product, when I looked at Jake's video, it says Fender can't do something. It was like $349. If that guitar could compete against a Fender, the cheapest Fender is $679. If it was as good as that $679 guitar, that's what they would sell it for. You're in business to make money. You're not in business to give away your product and make peanuts. You're in business to make as much money as you can possibly make on that product. That's business. But how do you keep companies in line? If they make a crappy product, you return it to the store, just like I did my Ibanez PWM 20. It was a horrible product for $1,500. I felt that it wasn't worth that. I returned the guitar. So the company's got to go, wow, we produced all these guitars at this price point. They're coming back. We're getting, claims from our vendors. We're getting returns. So in the next production run, they have a choice. Do they continue to make the product, or do they improve the product and try to make it to where, okay, we had some issues. Here's the new product. Now, Fender did that with the standards. The original standard, I reviewed the first one. It was an okay guitar. It was $599. It still needed some work. Fender this year come out with a new standard. They've added shielding. They've put a little bit better pickup in it. It now has alpha pots in it, a shielded control cavity. The drawback is the price of the guitar went up $70. It would have been nice if Fender could have held that price point. Okay. But I think the new standard, at least now, is a solid guitar. I just played another one. Didn't play one yesterday. It was the last time I went to Shenandoah Music. Well, actually, I did. I did feel the neck. They've got another Stratocaster in. It's Olympic white, and it felt nice. The neck on the guitar felt nice. I didn't plug it in, but I could tell that there was a difference in the fretwork. So they did step up their game a little bit on that guitar. Again, it's $679 now for the Strat. It would have been nice if they could have held $599, but they didn't. So this is what we see in guitars. I just made a post on the channel that we're going to start going and looking back into budget instruments. And I don't think we ever really left. We've reviewed the Ibanez S, the RGA. We did one Leo James this past time. The Schecter Avenger that we just reviewed, I think that's a budget guitar. It's a $399 guitar. I hate to say it, that is a budget instrument. It really is. The pickups in the Schecter, I think, are okay. I think the weak link on the Schecter Avenger, tuning keys. And I think you're going to have to do a little, if you want a perfect guitar, you would have to level the frets. Are the frets that bad on the guitar? None of the spots on it were really horrible. Even, I think it was the 6th, the 9th. I think it was the 9th and 10th fret that had the low fret. And it was just barely low. It just barely rocked on both spots. It's still far better than the Leo James that I've reviewed, if that makes sense. The Leo James is about $100 cheaper, though, $150 cheaper. And this still needs tuning keys. So it comes down to body style. If I look at the body and I look at the paint job, because I'm looking at it, if I look at it, can I get a Leo James that has that finish quality? No, I can't. So there's pros and cons to each, if that makes sense. You got to look at it, and if it fits you, okay, then you should get it and make the changes on the guitar. I guess my whole point in all this is I had to sit back and look what videos over the last 3.5 years have continuously performed well. And sadly enough, it's all been budget guitars. And I don't want to say that that's because of the economy. It's just a cheaper instrument sells. And I think there are good cheap instruments out there. And I don't think we lost focus. I just wanted to really review guitars. I didn't want to cater to the budget crowd, and I didn't want to cater to the high end crowd. And I believe we succeeded on that. I am going back, just so everyone knows, we do live reviews. So I am going to start to go back and edit every one of our live reviews that we've done that had decent camera and decent audio. When we first started, it was a little rough, so I might skip a couple guitars when we first started. But the last 8 months, they've been decent. So I'm going to go back and edit those down and make them, instead of a 2.5 hour live review, I can edit that down to maybe an hour, hour and 15 minutes and still give you a solid music and gear review, if that makes sense. And then we're going to repost them. That's what I was saying earlier. YouTube doesn't like the live because I turn off monetization. They can't make any money. So unless you guys talk a lot and do a lot of emojis and stuff, chat rate stays low. So unless the chat rate's really high and all these things are going, YouTube isn't going to push the video because there's no money here to be made. The only commercial you're going to get is maybe when you first click in. I don't know if you get a commercial when you first click in or not. You really shouldn't, but it's non-monetized. So what's the old saying? You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. So I've been trying to figure out a way of trying to get the content out for other people, and for people that they'll post on something. One of the old reviews say, we haven't heard from you in about a year. That's because we've been doing live shows. We haven't been doing the 2.5 hour pre-recorded reviews. We've been doing everything live. So a lot of people just figure, well, he's not doing it anymore. We never actually stopped. It's just YouTube. It was something different, and I think it confused the algorithm that YouTube was using. It was something different. And I think another issue I've had is the way I've been uploading. It kind of confuses the algorithm as well. So we're going to make some changes, and we're going to see how YouTube treats us as far as the changes that we're getting ready to make.
I think it's box time.
Yep, I do believe. I was just looking at the clock. Well, the EVH Frankie was a cheapo. That was Blue Matrix. Yeah, I don't want to lose my roots, Blue Matrix. I still think we do one of the best guitar reviews on YouTube. That doesn't mean that I can do a short review. We've always done long format. I want to continue with long format. That's why I don't really do shorts, because I think it'll hurt the channel more than it helps it, if that makes sense. And the community that we have here, everyone kind of gets along. We've been very fortunate on that. Everyone kind of gets along. Everyone kind of respects everybody, and everyone can come in here, and no one's chastised for their opinion. Okay, they really aren't. They might rub you and pick on you, but no one really gets mean if you have a point of view, especially if you have a point of view and you list, this is why I feel this way. And you might be surprised, you might change someone's opinion of something if you give them a good qualified answer on why you feel a certain way. Even if you don't change their opinion, you might make them go, well, I never thought about that. Whether it's how you set up your amp or how you play the guitar or pickups, or EQs or whatever it is. That's how we learn, and that's how we get better. I have learned so much off you guys saying, have you tried this? Have you done this? Try that, try. And it's things that I didn't think about that you guys said, maybe you should try this, Avery, and it'll work for you. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But I wouldn't have known without you guys contributing your thoughts and what you found works for you, if that makes sense. All right, guys, we're going to take our break. If you're new here, you don't have to be a subscriber to chat. I want you to come in to the stream and chat. I do want your subscription. So go down, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. But if you don't want to subscribe and you think it's all horse baloney, I get it. But I want you to chat. So I'm not forcing you to become a channel member or a Patreon or this or that. So you get to see this special video or that special video. There's no membership tiers here. It's 100% free. Just come in, chat, be polite. And this is a family channel. So be polite, be kind to others, and voice your opinion. That's what it's about. And if you would, like I said, hit the like button and since consider subscribing. We have over 80 guitar reviews. There's a lot of information on this channel. And next Thursday, like I said, we're having Brian back. He's a professional tech, and he's bringing a guitar from the store, and he's going to set it up for us just the way they do. It's a basic setup for floor stock. So he's going to show you what every guitar there gets. All right, guys, let's take our, it's usually about an 8-minute break. We've kind of went past 5. It's usually 8 to 10 minutes. So hit the restroom, get something to drink, and get a snack, and we'll be right back. And she just started the hot cocoa.
I
That's
did
the
not. That's the refrigerator filling up.
Oh, it's the refrigerator. I was getting ready to say I thought that was hot cocoa time.
You got hot cocoa in front of you.
We'll be right back. Yeah, this one cam is just dead. Again, I tried with the other cam guys. It's just not working. We've had horrible, horrible, horrible time with the Mevos. And I was told when I purchased the Mevos that they were great cameras. And when I talk to people about the issues that I have with them, they're like, "Well, we haven't had any problems." When I tell them about how they gray out, they're like, "Ours never gray out." And you guys see mine; they gray out all the time. This is the camera we normally always use. The light's on, but it doesn't see it. And I'm not overly sure why that camera is, see, it just grayed out again. These are just horrible cameras. We have two more payments on the wing rack, and then I have to make a decision. Do I just buy, instead of buying, I was looking at the Canon R8, instead of spending $1,600 on a camera, maybe I should just go. The issue with a mirrorless camera, if I spend $800 and you guys are like, well, you can get a mirrorless camera for $800, it will not survive a 2-hour stream. It will overheat and shut down. And I hear this continuously about these cameras. The R8 is about the cheapest one that you can get that doesn't have thermal heating problems and doesn't shut down. So that leads me into the Holy Land, makes a decent camera. It's like 600. I might just buy two of those, to be honest with you. And then with those cameras, if they perform the way they're supposed to run for hours without overheating, there's huge heat sinks on them. It's just a big square cube with a lens on it. If I could get that camera and it got us by for a year or two until we could start buying R8s or whatever, if the R8 comes down in price, whatever, as Canon re-releases things, it might be the way for the channel to go. And then I can use the Mevos as a backup cameras. But I'm looking at the Holy Land. Actually, let me show you, since we're on that topic.
I think it's Hollyland.
Hollyland. Maybe that's what it is. Let me go to Sweetwater and I'll show you the camera I'm talking about. Hollyland. Take me a second to find it. Okay, let me switch over. Display screen. So this is the camera I've been pondering over. It's a 549. Now they make a version 2 of this that came out later, but it's not as durable as this one. This one still seems to be the one to get. You can see the heatsink here, the way it's made. You've got your LAN port, HDMI, separate mic, auxiliary in, 12 volt input, so you can have your external power source, front view, and it's a solid metal case. So I think this camera would probably be okay for the channel. I was looking at the specs. Where's the specs on it? This is nice. The sensor is a 1.3 CMOS sensor. That's pretty good. It really is. I was also looking at a couple other little things about it. For the price point, it seems like it has a lot of good features. If you guys know of another camera that is designed to stream for hours, this camera will stream for hours and will not get hot and thermally shut down. That's the one advantage to the Mevos. Now they'll wig out. I'm not going to say that they don't wig out. The issue with the Mevos, the hotter they get, the more they do that. They gray out, and they'll get to the point where you can't shut them off. You can hit the power button, you hold the power button, it just will not shut off. The only way to turn it off is to unplug it and let the battery run out on it. That's another issue I've had with the Mevos. Now, this picture quality, the camera that we're using right now is wireless. The picture quality is better in wireless. With the wired camera that usually works, the picture quality isn't as good, but it's wired. Okay. The drawback to the wireless, OBS sees Mevo wireless. It doesn't see Mevo wireless 3P, whatever the serial number is on this one, and then another Mevo wireless. It only sees Mevo wireless. So to switch the camera, I literally have to go into the computer and tell it to switch the link to OBS for the camera. Yeah, OBS will not allow you to have two of them working simultaneously. Now, since the other Mevo is hardwired, it sees that one as a hardwired Mevo and one wireless Mevo camera. So if anyone has any suggestions on a decent camera, like I said, I was looking at this one. It seems like it's about the best bang for the buck for the price. If anyone has any suggestions, I don't want like an action cam. They do not make good streaming cameras. This camera was specifically designed for streamers. And I have good recording cameras that I can use to record videos with. See, it grays out so bad. So I don't need a camera to really record with. I need a streaming cameras. So I might just get two of those. 1 second. Oh. I was surprised I was able to hit that mute button that quick. Guys, it's open topic right now. So let's talk gear. We were talking imports and budget stuff. Let's see what you guys want to chat about now. It is open topic. And if we want to talk cameras, if you guys have a couple suggestions on some cameras, I'm open for a camera discussion. Again, I don't want an action camera. I have three really good action cameras, and they just lag so bad.
Devastator said, "Bless you."
No, thank you, Mr. Devastator. Linnell has a button that she uses on her microphone, and the stream that we did with Brian, it was crackling and carrying on. We thought it was working. The button just didn't work. So I've got the buttons over here on this little guy here where I can go over and mute. And the wing rack's MIDI capable, so I could technically get a small MIDI controller for Linnell in there, and then through MIDI I could tell it to mute the channel. So she could technically have a mute. I just haven't seen too many simplistic MIDI controllers that I think would work for Linnell.
I'm buttonless.
Yeah, she's buttonless right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I could use a MIDI cable, go into hers and go out the through to mine, and I could assign those MIDI buttons to anything in the wing rack. So we may end up going that route, because I keep forgetting how capable the wing rack is. So I don't need to actually have a switch here at the microphone. I can control it via MIDI or that ASU, or there's 50,000 other ways to turn on and off this microphone with switching, other than mute switches on the microphone. I just need to learn how to use the equipment that I have the way it was designed to be used. The wing rack will do so much. I just need to use the MIDI capability, the AS or the AEU or whatever that 50 port is on the back for expansion slots. So it's quite capable. And that's kind of how I felt about buying a camera. I don't want to buy a camera. That's why the Hollyland, I think it might be a great camera. Ooh, thank you so much. Brian UTT Tech. Is that are you new?
No.
Oh, he's not. Okay. Yeah, Linnell watches the chat more than I do. Thank you so much for the super strat. That really does help the channel.
Super Strat?
Super chat. It's what allows us to buy instruments and stuff like that for the channel. And we have sourced our next giveaway guitar, but I'm not letting the cat out of the bag yet. I pretty sure I've sourced the next two giveaway guitars. And guys, sometimes it's not about brand, it's about you just find a deal and it's a heck of a deal. I don't think I can get this quality of a guitar at this price for a giveaway. Yeah, yeah. So the next two have been sourced. That's all I'll say, and they're phenomenal instruments. They really are. They're a little more than we normally spend on a guitar giveaway, but they're phenomenal instruments. So if we have to go 3 months between the guitar giveaway, I think that'll be cool. A lot of channels don't even give away guitars. So really, if I did one every couple months, it would be fine. Especially these guitars. I think we found some really nice instruments. I think you guys are going to be highly impressed with what I found. I'd say at this point, we trust your judgment. Yeah, they're yeah, trust me. I almost want to say I stole them, if that makes sense. Wouldn't you say that, honey?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're not talking 10 or 15% off. I've got when the price was come across, I thought that was for one, but that was actually for two guitars. And when I first started, I was like, well, and he goes, well, it's for both. And I'm like, what? And at that point, it was kind of like, okay, this is kind of a no brainer. So I went ahead and just said, okay, we can do that. And I appreciate when you all find like the stupid deal of the day and stuff like that. When you all go to Discord and you all post that, believe me, it's not just me looking, it's everyone that gets on the Discord, and it changes every day. That stupid deal of the day, sometimes it really is a stupid deal of the day.
Mr. Fat says, in Avery's opinion, would you agree many of those clone brands should spend more time on giving us the best frets, best body paint, etc., and just sell us a body and neck and ditch the cheapo hardware?
I do kind of agree with you on that, but at the same token, they have to sell a complete instrument, if that makes sense. Okay. They're not selling necks and bodies. So I'm pretty sure I didn't speak to Sean over at Scar My Guitar directly, but I heard through other channels when he orders his guitar, it comes with all the electronics and pickups in it. Because at that point, on his end, they're not charging him that much more just to go ahead and put the electronics on it. So yeah, he's taking them out and throwing them away because I think him and his wife are winding pickups. It just comes down to that. What do you do with all that stuff? I don't know what he does with it. I don't think he's selling that many guitars anyway. So maybe he just gives them away as freebies, the stock IYV stuff. And I don't know if he's stripping everything out of the guitar or if he's just switching pickups. Um, when you're talking a guitar like that, your cost is $150. You say, well, I don't want the pickups on electronics. You might save $20. At that point, let them go ahead and do it and set it up as a guitar. Because if you're buying a neck and a body, maybe they got the routing wrong or maybe the pots don't fit. At least if you receive it with the pots and the pickups in it, you know you can put pickups back in it. Firefly was bad for that. They do these proprietary horns on the pickups. We had to do it with the one I was just talking about, the white ash one. And it's easier just to modify the foot of the pickup than it is to reroute the guitar. But a conventional pickup did fit, but the conventional pickup has a square or a rectangle shoe on either side. we had to cut those down to like a point, like a triangle point. Why does Firefly do that? Again, it just comes down to they sourced a cheap pickup, so they routed the guitar to fit that particular pickup. That's all it come down to. Um, yeah, I kind of agree with you, but that's why they do it. And even though, like, if you do CTS, Linnell Schecter, the Ibanez, it's not just Firefly and Grote. The Ibanez, the Schecter, if I put CTS or Barnes pots in either one of those guitars, I'm going to have to take a reaming bit and I'm going to have to ream the body out for the potentiometer to go through the body. Because the imported pots, the shaft diameter is smaller. So if you don't want to ream out your guitar and you want a nice quality pot that you don't have to modify your guitar on, go Alpha. The Alpha pot's going to fit all these import guitars like the Ibanez Jim, the S, the Schecter, the Firefly, the Leo James. It's going to fit all those guitars because it's a metric stem on that potentiometer. You see the exact same thing with tuners, although the day of what size hole on my tuner has kind of went bye-bye. 10 years ago, you really had to pay attention. Is it a millimeter or is it, metric? Is it imperial or is it mostly now all guitar manufacturers have went metric on the bore for the tuners. I think Gibson still uses an imperial because they're using the Grovers. They're trying to keep it more traditional. But I would say most companies have already migrated over to the metric side there. So keep that in mind when you're buying potentiometers. If you're putting CTS pots in an Ibanez or a Firefly or something, you're probably going to have to remount the body. Well, I know on a Firefly, you're going to have to remount the body so the stem will go up through the guitar. So that just, I found something that works better than a reaming bit. Take the Dremel tools. They have a small, not the large sanding wheel, but they've got one that has a really small diameter. Okay, and it's got the little drum. You slide the little sanding wheel on it. You tighten the end with the screwdriver. It's a smaller diameter sanding drum. Get that and put down in there, and then go like this around the hole with the sanding drum. I have found the last two guitars I've used that over using the reamer, because when you're using the reamer, the reamer wants to dig into the paint. Even if you put tape over that and you've got your hand reamer, it just wants to dig in and chip the paint. The Dremel thing I saw down at Lowe's, I'd never seen them before, but it's only like 3/16 of an inch, maybe a 1/4 inch on the drum. It's really small diameter. It fits right in there, and you can just kind of go around the hole just a little bit, okay? And it works like a charm, and you don't have to worry about it. I still put the tape on it, but it's not going to chip the paint as easily as using the reamer. So the last two guitars, I've used the Dremel to widen out the holes and not my reamer. Just for that reason, it chipping the paint. What else we got, hon? Any new ones?
Mm-hmm.
Scar is ordering 200 guitars at a clip twice a year. So that's 400 guitars he's making. I don't know. I don't know what he's paying for a guitar. I don't know. I know he's selling them for like $800 a piece or something, and they're winding pickups. Okay, you're winding custom pickups. Pickups. The reason everyone makes pickups are cheap to make. Just so you know, the parts, the actual parts, the cost wise, it's pretty inexpensive. Even if you're making a nice pickup, there's a lot of mark there in it. That's why there's so many pickup companies. There's a lot of mark in pickups. So he's making a little bit there. By the time you receive it, unbox it, take the thing apart, do all that stuff, put your own pickups in it. I would have to, I almost hate to say this, you would have to do 2 guitars a day. You would have to make any kind of money at all. So that's just, and I don't even know if you could do it at that. I don't know if he's charging shipping or there's just too many unknowns. But if him and his wife are in doing it, I hate to say, you guys, every area is different. I'm saying you got two people working on it. You would have to make you'd have to make $800 a day at bare minimum. Um, Probably closer to nine because you've got disposable stuff there. You've got solder, you got flux, you've got tape, you got boxing materials. Plus, you have to pay yourself. So they probably need to make $900 a day for both of them. That's a guess.
Annoying Critic says lately, I'm thinking that set necks are better than bolt-ons.
I think there's pros and cons to both. But the issue to a set neck and a neck through guitar, if there's a problem, it's much harder to fix. Is one more resonant than the other? I always thought neck through guitars were more resonant, but the original maker of BC Rich guitars, when BC Rich was handmade, that guy claims a bolt-on neck is more resonant than a neck through or a set neck. So again, I think that's whatever you feels right. I don't think one's better than the other, but servicing and setting up and modifying a bolt-on neck guitar is easier to change your neck angle to the guitar. Let's say you want to change bridges, and the bridge is down too far and you want to raise your bridge up a little bit. You can put a shim in the neck, kick the neck back, which creates more room back here for your bridge. You can't do that on a set neck guitar or a neck through. This is where it is. Okay? If you raise this, it raises your string action height. You can't kick this neck back to fix it. I still, guys, I like bolt-ons. I just passed up a really good deal on a Jackson Virtuoso. It was neck through. I could have got the guitar for probably $2,000. I want a bolt-on. Yeah, I've got a really nice neck through right here, my Schecter. And I'm sitting there going, well, I've got a really nice neck through. That's my guitar, the Jackson's Lanils. I'm like, I kind of want a bolt-on. And I wanted the bolt-on for the versatility of being able to change that neck angle and change my bridge settings, if that makes sense. When it comes to like the Fenders, I like my FMT Stratocaster, Telecaster. It's a set neck. It reminds me of a Les Paul. It does, I think, change the sound of the guitar. The FMT sounds like a Les Paul with a lot less weight. So I got that guitar, and Linnell has a Firefly with conventional frets on it. It's a beautiful guitar. It's a charcoal burst. And yes, Firefly used to do conventional frets. It's a chamfered fret. I do not think they're stainless. I think they're nickel frets on that guitar. Great guitar. I put the Epiphone burst buckers or pro buckers in it, pickups. And it come with the 2 volumes, 2 tones, the 3-way switch, and the pickups for $70. It was the whole package. I put that in the guitar. I think we did put better tuners on it. It's a great guitar. So probably $130 in parts, and that was about a $180 guitar. And I did a fret level and everything on it because it's a Firefly. Especially back then. This is when Firefly didn't really have a web. You had to get them on Amazon. That was the only place to get that Firefly was Amazon. That was before they had a website. So in reality, I don't know. I got maybe 350 in it, max. And it's a solid guitar. I'm not going to buy an Epiphone that plays like that for $350. So, but it didn't come that way. I had to build it. I had to put time at it. If you don't mind working on it. But the problem is Firefly no longer, you can't buy that guitar anymore. They don't make a conventional fret guitar. And I just sold my last one. Firefly about 2 years ago had a Les Paul with P90s. They had one production run, chamfered frets. I got me one. But that's the last time Firefly has put conventional frets on a guitar. Leo James just did it on one of their guitars. They sold out real quick, but again, they put the wrong Roman numerals on the guitar. So they got the fret right, but then they screwed up the inlays on the guitar neck. And they only did this one or two particular colors of this guitar in this production run. Are they going to come back with it? I hope so. I would love to be able to get the new Synomi, or what's that one called, hon? The Sonomi or Typhoon? That's not the Typhoon.
Tsunami.
Tsunami. I'd love to see the Tsunami, okay, with conventional frets and fix the inlay. And I would have no issues at all with that guitar at $249. But you got to fix those issues.
Mr. Fat says, do you agree those more expensive coated strings are sort of silly? I know some giggers, they use non-coated. They change their strings anyway after a few hours, so they don't care about coated. Do we really need coated?
If you're changing your strings a lot, no. I mean, I don't know if the excess strings from D'Addario are coated or not. I know I've had really good luck with the excess strings, and they stay sounding nice. I've also had really good luck with just the standard D'Addario strings. I guess it's the XLs. I haven't had any problem with those strings. I don't think those are coated. When I played out live, I used Dean Markley cold blue steels. And I mean, it got hot on stage with the lights. I never had a problem with those strings getting corroded, but I put new strings on the guitar every 3 to 4 weeks. It got new strings. So I don't think for someone playing a lot and playing out, I don't think really the coated strings are made for them. I think it's made for, believe it or not, more people like, I guess, me now that have a lot of different guitars. And you don't want your strings to go dead or rust just sitting in the house, because the oils of your hand, when you play it, you set it up, it might be a month before you play that guitar again. And the coated strings aren't going to tarnish as quickly as a cheaper string. I think that's probably more suited for somebody, like I said, like me now. Before, I only had 3 or 4 guitars. I had my 3 PVs and my acoustic. That was it. And I played the 2 of the PVs all the time. The other one was a backup. So those guitars just got played and played and played and played, and I just replaced. And those were Dean Markley strings. Never had an issue with it. But I kind of agree with you. I think the coated strings are probably one of those things. If you got a lot of guitars and they're not getting a lot of love every day, that's probably a good coated string would probably be something that you'd want to put on it. That way in 6 months when you pick the guitar up, the strings still feel good, if that makes sense. They're not going to feel all corroded and nasty. I'm reading back through. For myself, I don't gig, don't change my strings a lot. I keep them clean, wipe them down. I should do that, CD. I don't. You should technically wipe your strings down. If you got fretties or something, put on a rag, wipe your strings down. They would probably last much longer for me if I did that, but I don't. But you're 100%. You should wipe the guitar down. That would really help the longevity of your guitar string. I want to buy a set neck or neck through.
I wouldn't buy.
Oh, I wouldn't. Angry Trucker Bob, Ibanez right now has a set neck guitar for $679. It's not set, it's neck through for $679. It's a fantastic looking guitar. They have 2 versions. They have with a tremolo and without a tremolo. It's a hardtail bridge. I really want to get one in on the channel, the neck through, for $679 from Ibanez. I would be really curious to see where that guitar is hitting. There's a couple couple. There was another company. I don't think it was Jackson. There was another company doing a neck through for under 8. I think it was like 7 something. I can't remember who it was. I know Ibanez has that one. Um, I think it's doable. It's one of those things. Once the programming is done and these companies start making it, the more they make them, again, it comes down to now they've got it figured out and they can produce it cheaper. I think you're going to start to see more and more neck through type guitars with those prices coming down a little bit as far as more budget friendly. I don't want to say because everything's going up, but you're not going to see, you're going to start, I think, see more neck through guitars in the under $1,000 price range. It may have cheaper pickups and cheaper tuners, but you're going to start seeing more guitar companies doing it because now it's not like it was 20 years ago when it was really hard to do. CNC process has really taken a lot of that out of the equation. And you can cheat. You know, some people say this isn't a neck through. Okay. And the reason they say that is because right here there's a seam. Okay. So this neck is one piece of wood right here. And then when it gets down here, they glued another piece of wood on it to get it to the thickness of the body. Okay. And they did the exact same thing on the headstock. They put a scarf joint in the top. Okay. And locked it. And then the CNC machine, when they glue the wings on it, glues onto this. So this isn't one solid piece of wood, but it's not split up the seam. The seam goes this way. So they took 2 pieces, doubled the thickness. There was a whole thing when Jackson showed what they were doing. They're like, well, it's not a true neck through because you've pieced the neck. Well, whether you piece it this way or you piece it this way, it's still a multi-piece neck. You see what I mean? Even though this piece doesn't go up through like a multi-piece, okay? They're saying, it runs the sustain and runs all this. Well, if you've got a 5-piece neck or a 7-piece neck, you have all that resin and glue in that. So the way they're doing it, they've got a seam here and a seam here that goes all the way through the body. I don't know which surface area has more. I would venture to say a 5-piece neck would have more glue surface than just seaming it through here. I don't know what that was about, but if you look back about 8 or 9 months ago, that was a big topic. Everyone saying the Jackson neck through isn't a true neck through, and that's what it was about.
Kurt said, I love the neck through if done right. The access to lower frets is fantastic.
Yeah, I like this one. Plays really well. The Schecter is stupid crazy the way they cut the neck out on that one. It's just very comfy. It's cut way back. Like let me show you that.
Well, he also said he doesn't like set necks. The heel's just too thick.
What was that?
Kurt, he doesn't like set necks. The heel's too thick.
Yeah, the only one I can think of, Kurt, that isn't like that, and I worry about the joint failing. Epiphone didn't do it. Okay, on the Alex license model, it gets really thick here. Okay, but they did take the heel out, but they left a lot of mass there. But look at the Gibson Access Les Paul. They have cut it back like this, and it is a long tenon joint. But they've removed all this section through here. So you only end up with like 2.5 inches of tenon into the bottom. I don't know. I haven't heard anyone saying that the guitars are failing, but that's a kind of a scary joint because they've cut way back into that Les Paul for the access joint. The Epiphone Alex license isn't done that way. They've really kept this part fat where that tenon joint is. But on the Gibson joint, they've really cut that way back. That's the only one I can think of on a set neck that is similar. It's not near as bad as cut out as this, but they've cut a lot of that joint out. But you can see how this one's cut way in. And a true neck through like that, you can do that. because this is stable all the way through the guitar. You can cut this way back even more. It's just this section is glued on to the side right here. And you've got a ton of glue surface. You can see the seam going through here. That's all glue surface. So you don't have to worry about this wing failing. There's a lot of surface there to glue to. So I kind of like how these newer, and the new Kiesel design is pretty awesome too. If you look at their neck throughs, the way they're cutting their guitar out, it's just phenomenal. This guitar is really my best guitar that I own. As far as the way it's machined, the way it plays, it needs a bath. It's really dirty, but this is a fantastic guitar.
Trucker Bob said I had a Jackson Kelly KEX that was neck through. Neck would pop when you dive and go miles out of tune. $800 guitar.
Yeah. Do you want to tell them, or do you want me to tell them?
No, you can go ahead.
Well, today at the store, Linnell fell in love with a Jackson Kelly. Beautiful guitar. It's what was it? Ferrari red.
Mm-hmm.
Ferrari red. Had a rosewood fingerboard on it. Had the Jackson licensed Floyd Rose bridge on it. We didn't plug it in or anything, but feeling the guitar, the back of the neck on the guitar was pretty rough. You could really feel the grain, and it felt the headstock and everything on the back of it felt like overspray.
What was the guitar you just had?
That was a Schecter Mach 6, the one I just had. Great guitar. The Schecter Mach 6, awesome guitar. But we were looking at this Kelly, this Jackson, and the back of the neck needed some work. It was rough. Not rough as like scratched, rough in, it felt like when you get too much air in your spray gun and your clear starts drying in the air before it lands on the body, and it had that feel like they were running out of urethane, and you were getting a lot of air and sputter out of the gun. You could feel the grit from the top coat. It was really bad. Yeah, really. I've never felt a guitar with that feel, like all up in here in the curves of the neck. But it was consistent. I will give it that. The whole neck had this grit feel to it. It was almost like it was sprayed, and no one went back and did a final finish polish on.
Yeah, Brian felt it too.
Yeah, Brian felt it. The two next to it were far better, but this one particular one, it was pretty rough. And the drawback to that is, can Brian fix it? Yeah, it was a how much was that guitar? It was really cheap.
I think it was $459
Yeah, $459
or
so
$469. One of the two.
either way, it's got a bridge, nice color. At that price point, a store can't bring that in and then have Brian spend 2 or 3 hours fixing it. They can't. The money's not there. The money's not there in the product. So looking at the other products that were there, the exact, they had 2 Dinkies and then 2 Vs, exact same series, exact same setup, exact same price. The red one, the neck was bad on. They had one other one that was so-so. The other 2 were good.
Would it stay in tune?
I didn't play it. That's just it. It's the Jackson Floyd Rose bridge, so it's going to be a lot like the Ibanez Floyd Rose bridge, not the Zero bridge, but the one they use on the Geo and the Gem and the other model. That bridge works well out of the box, but what I hear is over time the knife edges wear out and it won't return to zero if you use it a lot. So I'm sure you're right back in that exact same thing. It's going to be worse than Floyd Rose Special. It's going to be like these new Floyd Roses. And I hate to say it, LTD is starting to put them on everything under $800. and it says, it's got a screen written. It says Floyd Rose right here. Okay. And it's screen printed. It's like painted on. It says Floyd Rose. If you see that bridge, count on putting a Godot in it, because that bridge is cheaper than a special. And it shocked me when I saw LTD was putting them on every guitar. The one they had down there was $7.99, and they had that bridge on it. That's not good. That means that they're trying to save that extra $10 or $15 versus a special. So a special on our end we can get from $99 to $120. The factory's probably paying $80 for that bridge, 75, something like that, give or take. So they can get this other bridge for probably 50. Well, you figure, oh, well, it's only $20. Well, you figure if they make 1,000 or 2,000 guitars of this particular model, that's a lot of money. And they're making a lot. LTD's making a lot more than 2,000 or 3,000 guitars, you know. So you figure $20 on every guitar, that's a tremendous amount of money that they save going to that cheaper bridge.
Bob said his Kelly had a crack somewhere in the neck through part or the glue that holds it, because you could feel the pop if you dive hard.
Yeah. I like the Kelly body style because it kind of reminds me of the Explorer, but it's not huge like the Explorer. They had an LTD down there. It was $1,500, and it looked a lot like an Explorer, but the headstock had like a little curve to it, and it had a swoop in the one horn that come down. Linnell said she didn't like it. It was white, and instead of this saying LTD like painted on, it had this huge raised letter. It said LTD on it. It was kind of unique.
Well, I didn't like it because it was white. I didn't like the carve at the bottom.
Yeah, she didn't like how it had the carve at the bottom. I thought it was kind of unique. It was a ABR bridge on it, no bridge. $1,500. It did have EMG active pickups in it. That's a lot of money for an LTD without a bridge. $1,500. I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence on that one, especially since you can buy you can buy the Jackson Kelly, and you can get the pro version like Linnell's Crackle here for $1,200. And it's going to have Seymour's in it. So for me, I would get the Jackson Kelly with the Seymour's and the FR 1,500 or 1,000 bridge before I bought the LTD with the ABR bridge and EMGs in it. But I'm sure that appeals to somebody. It was a signature guitar. There was a screwy signature on the pick guard on that guitar. I don't know if anyone knows which one I'm talking about, but it was a cool guitar. But I think the Kelly was a little better as far as when I sat it on my lap. It was lighter, but it seemed to fit me better on the lap. And she seemed to like the Kelly, but I don't know if Brian's going to bring that guitar. We kind of looked at a couple different guitars down there that were potential candidates for doing a setup and a tutorial for Thursday. So I'm kind of curious to see what Brian brings for Thursday night. So, okay, guys, it is 10 o'clock. I don't mean to cut the stream short tonight, but as I said earlier, I have a huge toothache, and it's like super killing me. And I did persevere through, but if you heard me slurring, it's because of my tooth. Hopefully get an appointment this week. I've already kind of told Brian that if I do see a dentist and I get a tooth pulled, he may have to do all the talking on Thursday. It might be a Brian and Linnell show. Avery might be sitting back here with a bunch of gauze shoved in his mouth. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I'm kind of hoping. I need to do so. Hopefully, they're just going to drill it and fix it. I don't know. I got to go see the guy about it. But that's why I'm kind of I'm in a lot of pain, and that's an understatement. But I want to thank everybody for coming in. If you gave a super chat, thank you so much. That's really what funds the channel. Again, you guys got no commercials. If we do live reviews and stuff, when I redo the editing and you go back and watch them, you're going to get commercials. And if you watch this show probably 2 or 3 days after the live, you're going to get commercials. You have to monetize it at some point. Hopefully that's like a little carrot for everyone to come in and participate in the live. Oh, I see Steve made it in.
Mm-hmm.
Pliers and whiskey. Oh my gosh, you're hard, man. Oh, thank you so much, Mikey.
He said gas for Dev to go fix Avery's tooth.
Oh my gosh. It is bad, man. Right, it's that one right there. It is. She made dinner tonight and I was doing so good. And, it really wasn't, trying to chew on one side. I was just chewing slow, and I was almost done with my plate, and I took this one, you can ask her, I just started, tooth pain is awful. And I crunched down on it, and it brought tears to my eyes, and I'm sitting there going, okay, I can't. And I did finish the last 2 little bites, but I did so well right up to that point. Now, I don't know what triggered it, but it felt like someone just stabbed my gum. It was awful. So hopefully I can get it fixed this week, guys.
Searching for Tone said, dang, bit of honeys get you every time.
You know what? You're laughing about that, but Jupe sent a bag of bit of honey, and I didn't open it. And I had 5 pieces 2 weeks ago, and as soon as I ate the bit of honey, I got the toothache.
Got a super chat from Penagore.
Oh, thank you, Penagore, so much.
He said Orgel Fund.
Orgel Fund. Where's the Orgel? She did get me some.
I got you some Orgel mouthwash.
Orgel mouthwash. It's got a little stuff in it that kind of numbs it a little bit. It does help. So thank you so much, guys. You guys are great. I couldn't do the show without you all. Please come on Thursday night, guys, and support Brian, support the channel. We really want to do something different, and we want the channel to grow and continue to be an outlet for people wanting to see good guitar reviews and wanting to know information on setting up your guitar, tricks, and tips. That's really what started this whole channel, was reviewing guitars and modifying guitars. So we want to concentrate on that content again. So Thursday night, guys, we are going to set up a guitar just as it does. Oh, thank you, Trucker Bob. You guys are awesome.
He added to the Orgel Fund.
I'm pretty sure in my area, I think it's going to be like $1,300 if they have to do a root canal on it.
Yeah, I know your last dentist visit was expensive.
Yeah, I want to say the last one was $1,500. Ooh, thank you so much, Mr. Steve.
He said an apple a day keeps the dentist away.
I don't think I could eat an apple, to be honest with you. I'd have to chew on this side.
Kurt said it's time for dentures, Avery.
Wow. I have good teeth. It's just that I got 2 in the back that are just awful. And they told me this 2 years ago when they started working on my teeth. They said, "Look, you got 2 back here that," and I'm like, "Oh, what do you mean?" He goes, "Well, we might not be able to save them." I'm like, "What do you mean you can't save them?" And they're like, well, we'll see how it plays out as you can afford to fix it. And I'm probably going to end up losing those 2 in the back, and I'm probably going to have to do some type of implant, because when I had my molars removed years ago, so now you take those out, and you only have 4 teeth back there, okay, really, on each side. So once I lose those 2, I've lost 50% of my ability to chew back there. So if he takes those out, I'll have to do some type of implant back there, because it'll be 1 tooth on the top, 1 tooth on the bottom. I'm pretty sure they don't make a partial for something like that, so I'll have to get one of the pins or however they do it. That's the expensive part. If they do pull it, that's cheap. But to get an implant or a fake tooth put in so you can chew again, and people go, well, I just lost the one on the top. Well, it doesn't matter. If it's one of your big teeth back there and you lose the top one and you got your bottom one, now the bottom one can't do anything. There's nothing for it to go up and grind the food against.
Trucker Bob says it's better to drive to Arkansas and let Dev do it for guitar repairs and upgrades.
Oh my gosh. I know exactly. They're not going to use a string. They're going to use like the E string on a guitar and put around the tooth and tie it to a doorknob and say, sit still now.
Well,
Slam!
Devastator suggested earlier to put an ice skate up against the tooth and hit the end of the ice skate with a rock. I saw that on a movie and I can't remember what movie it was.
No, when I was young, I remember it. My dad, these were baby teeth though. I don't know if it would work with big teeth. He'd tie a string around the baby tooth, tie it on the doorknob, make me sit on the end of the bed, slam the door, and the tooth comes flying out. But those were baby teeth. I can remember only 2 times, but I remember that's how Dad did it with baby teeth. He'd tie the string around, put it on the doorknob, and I don't think they're doing that with this one because when I had my molars taken out, oh my gosh, the roots on those teeth, and I'm sure these are the exact same way because it's the big teeth in the back, just massive roots. So I know they had to cut my molars out. I just have to go and see what they say. Hopefully I can just have it drilled and it's going to be okay. Get it drilled. Oh my gosh, Drew, thank you so much.
He's a little towards grandpa teeth.
You guys are killing me. Yeah, I'm hoping they can just drill it. I really don't want to lose the tooth. Jupe, that definitely will go towards the dental bill. Hopefully they can just drill it. I don't want to lose that tooth. Because like I said, if you lose the one, then you can't chew anyway, even though you have the one on the bottom. Once you remove the top one, so you'd have to have it removed and have an implant put in to even make the bottom one do anything anymore. So we'll see what they say this week. But yeah, it's very sore. But I want to thank everyone for coming in, guys. Please go over to Discord and guys, don't forget, come back to the video. Okay, when you click back on it and leave some comments in the comment section of the video. Hit the thumbs up button. Hit the hype button if you see it. Some people still see the hype button. Some people don't see the hype button. Do as much as you can to push the content out. If you haven't, go to Music and Gear's homepage. I did finally change the homepage. So now when you get there, it's not going to show, video that we haven't loaded to in a long time. Okay. It's going to show what we're doing right now. We have live content. We have the gear talk, the posts, the merch. So I reorganized a lot of that. Hopefully it looks a little better. So if you go to the channel and you're thinking about subscribing, it should really show what the channel's doing right now. It really should. Well, she's laughing about something.
Kurt said Linnell's new name for Avery will be Gummy Bear.
Gosh, it's one tooth. Oh, look, I got all my teeth. Got pretty decent teeth for my age. I only had 2 cavities, okay, on these teeth, and then the 2 bad teeth in the back. So in reality, for me, I've never been much of a dentist person. For to only have 2 cavities in these teeth and the 2 bad teeth in the back, and there's no cavities on the side. They're bad on the inside. However that happens, he said they'd have to be drilled and filled, root canal. And he said he would evaluate it when I get the funds. So hopefully I'm going to walk in there and say, look, dude, just fix them. I don't want to lose the teeth. I can't afford to lose teeth. Hopefully that'll transpire. If not, I guess I'll have to have it pulled, and I definitely can't afford implants. That'll just be too expensive. So I'll have to learn how to, it's only one. because you have four on, you have two on the top, two on the bottom on each side. So if I just lose that one, I'll still technically be able to chew on that side. I'll just lose the groups, if that makes sense. So we'll see what he says. But I want to thank everybody for coming in. Thank you so much. You guys don't know. Every time I do this stream and I see people come in and participate, it just blows my mind. It really does. I can't thank you guys enough. Tell other people about the channel. And I'm going to start going back on the live reviews, and I'm going to start editing the live reviews. And I'm also, like what you all just saw this week with the clip of the live stream, we're going to start tuning down the live and just putting up the best parts. That doesn't mean don't come to the live. I'll catch the recap because Avery's going to edit it. But I want to go back and do some of that. So people that missed the stream, maybe 6 months from now, that'll be a video they watch instead of the live, if that makes sense.
Jupe, really?
Just really, Jupe?
He said Avery treat Linnell to something with this super chat for Mother's Day.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking furry handcuffs.
You already have them.
Shh, they wasn't supposed to know that, are they?
They're red.
Letting all my secrets out.
What are you talking about? I bought them.
Yeah, that's what the bruising on the wrists are from, guys. All right, guys, thank you so much. We're going to do our 5-minute end chat, and make sure you guys come back for Thursday night. We've got a really special show with Brian lined up, and please come by. I think Brian's still new, so you guys got to come in, give him the props, let him get his feet wet, let him know. I know he really had a lot of fun the other Thursday night. He was talking about it today. He just kept talking about it. So I know he's really psyched. He's really happy to come and do the stream. So guys, come in, show him some love. He's a great tech. Like I said, he's the only guy that I'll let work on my guitars. All right, just like Time Surfing Alien said, good night all. Here's our 5-minute ending window. And I hope to see everyone Thursday night for Tech Chat. Or what is it? Tech Talk. Yeah, Tech Talk. All right, guys. Thanks so much.